External Growth and Innovation, Director for Regulatory and Medical Affairs, India, and an Executive Management from AIM Manila, Philippines. Sir has completed his MPharm PhD in medicinal chemistry. He has more than 37 years of experience at Abbott, with M&B, Ron Collins, Johnson and Johnson. Sir was the president of IPA MH. In last 3 years, Sir has worked with IPA Ventures as a director at BCP. He has also extended his services as a resource person for various FDP and pedagogy for cosmeceuticals and cosmetology. He has been extending his services as a technical consultant to cosmetic industry and medical device industry. He has also served as an independent expert to ASCI. With this brief introduction, may I take the privilege of requesting Dr. Bambulkar sir to please start with this session. Sir, can I request you to please start with the session?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Thank you. Let me go to presentation and my window.
Yes. Yes, sir. In the meantime, I request all participants to please stop your videos, switch off your videos, and please switch off your audios too, so that we can have a smooth conduct of the session.
Can you see my first slide?
Not yet, sir. Yeah, sir. Just a minute. It is presenting.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We can see.
I'll just go to enlarge. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you see? Can you see my slide?
Sir, the slide has not been enlarged. It's still minimized only. You have to go for a full screen, sir.
Yeah, when I do full screen, I see all the participants basically.
Sir, you please again stop the screen sharing and again you can start the sharing.
Is it better? Can you?
Yes, sir. But the full screen part is, yeah, sir. We can see now.
Now full screen is like over there, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir. We can see.
Okay, okay. I think if you have any audio problem, let me know.
Sure, sir.
Then I can put on my earphones and mic as well. But now I'm speaking without any aids, just from the laptop.
Sure, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And let me start. Good evening, fellow pharmacists. Thank you, respected Dr. Neeraj Vyavare sir, Shubhangi madam, and Dr. D.Y. Patil, College of Pharmacy, Akudi team, for setting up this series of webinar. I think this is an excellent opportunity to connect you to this digital platform. And everybody knows that we are the pharmacists which are considered as essential services in this recession-proof, we can say, recession period, and pharmacy itself is a recession-proof industry now. So everybody is aware that importance of pharmacy, being the world pharmacy recognized everywhere. So you know where you are and what is the scope for us. Coming back to today's presentation, the theme was given to me as a regarding recruitment, replacement, job opportunities, and how we can connect this today's webinar to the context, whether it is COVID, pre-COVID, post-COVID, or whatever phase of COVID, we are here to develop our skill, better utilize our time, so that we are prepared for the tomorrow very well. And I opted for this particular topic. Even you have communication skill as one of the paper I heard in BPharm or MPharm, wherever it is there. But what today we are going to learn is something different. Different in the sense, I personally came across this corporate communication after joining industry and learn through on the job. And this is the first time I decided to share this communication skill. What is a normal communication skill and what is a corporate communication skill? These are entirely different. You are required to develop it. Unless you are sensitized about it, you will not be able to develop it. So today our attempt is what is a corporate communication skill, how it is important, we should nurture it. And you are actually this is a time where we are having utilize your skill, sharpen your skill. Some people from your side, I think, also must be from industry, and they know the sense of urgency. Basically, in corporate world, you don't have time to think.
Sir, I would interrupt you.
Yeah,
I
please.
request all participants not to present their screen, because as you're going to present your screen, you will not be able to see the presentation of the speaker. So it's a request to all the participants not to don't click on the present now option. And to view the presentation of Dr. Bamburkar sir, you just have to pin the PPT that is there of Dr. Vijay Bamburkar. It's a request to all the participants. Sir, please continue.
Yeah, can they see my first slide, right?
Yes, sir, they can see. They just have to pin your presentation. They all will be able to see.
Okay, Organization of Pharmaceutical Producers of India. That's the title of that.
Yes, sir.
And where I was deliberating that if you go to this particular OPPI's website, I have given the site address there on the top. And 12th of May, there are 10 managing directors, top managing director leaders of the industry. They say that each managing director, each leader is talking about 2 points only. I insist whenever you have time, go to that link I have shared there. And the sum of all the 10 people, 10 leaders who shared their vision in this COVID period, they say, I have listed for you, listen to the industry captains share their insights on the way in which the crisis has made us resilient. Resilience means it's just like a rubber. We are bounce back. We will bounce back. Resilience. Forget about that, but has brought us together as we learn to communicate better and embrace technology. So digital platform, what we are doing is nothing but embracing technology. And what we are seeing is that we have brought us together as we learn to communicate better. I've been with you. I think I've been coming to Pune or many other colleges, but this is the first opportunity for me to communicate with you better, to develop your communication skill. And beyond the basic skills of communication, let us see what is a corporate communication skill. When we, in this COVID period, if we think this is as a problem, then our negative energy will go. And if we see it as a challenge, then we will start into thinking into opportunity. What are different opportunities? This is one of the opportunity we are encashing our time available, and you invited me, and I'm teaching you how to, or coaching you how to develop corporate communication. So this opportunity, the problem, we are converted into challenge and challenge into opportunity, and therefore we are learning this opportunity. We see that this situation is coming like after 100 years. 1918, Spanish flu came, and now after that, this COVID has come. This comes repeating maybe another after 100 years, but we will not get this opportunity till 100 years. and we have learned to live with COVID. I think there is a no, by this time everybody has understood that we can't stop for COVID. We can't stop for anything. So we have to continue to utilize our time in the best way. In fact, this social distancing, what they call, or physical distancing, has bringing us people closer. Like I am coming to you and I am giving a coaching. So this is opportunity we are converted into a challenge and opportunity, converted into opportunity. So communication is a more human. I think there is a sympathy, there is empathy. If you see the organizations, they are becoming more humble, caring, empathetic, and self-sufficient. In the sense that profit, all industry works for profit, but now that has become secondary or tertiary. Corporations are now giving more importance for the people's safety, people concern. So people has become a priority. Planet, as I have taught us, if you don't care for the planet, what happened to us, like a COVID, and then the profit will come later. So this COVID has taught us to give more importance to the people, and that's why we are developing each other. World is changing, and it is not a survival of the fittest, but survival of the fastest. And this is a time you have to utilize to adapt to the new way of working, adopt faster, so that this is a day-to-day how you are going to work in a post-COVID situation. So adapt and adopt fast, upgrade your skills faster. So that's the basic what I want to tell as a how we are converting opportunity into challenge or challenge into opportunity. So I think before getting into the communication skill, everybody is working from industry point of view. Everybody is working from home, and there are some basic rules which are rules of communication. Is that if you are working from home, maybe you are employer, employee, or a student or a teacher. Never mix up office and family together. Don't share office laptop with the family. If you have to share only one laptop, then there are precautions. Don't use public or home network for office. There should be a dedicated network in the sense that there is hardware called VPN drive. So your all communications are encrypted. It will go only to the targeted person. It will not go through, because Gmail and all these are very public domain. Your official communication should go through the hardware and encrypted. So it goes to the right person. I strongly discourage not to use Gmail for official purpose. So use always your whatever college address or college domain as an official address. Do not save your official work on your personal Google Drive file or email account. Do not save personal work on office laptop. If save, then make a separate folder, as this laptop will have to go to servicing to IT office. These are some of the basic things. It's not part of our communication skill, but this is, if you don't know this, you will commit mistakes which are difficult to salvage. So therefore, when you work from home, more discipline is required. This is new etiquettes. Now, what I'm going to coach you on the new etiquettes of working and communication from offline communication. When you are not in the office, how you are working. Your one silly mistake of yours can leave your organization, or at least leave your team in jeopardy, especially because everyone is working from home. Damage control has become very important. Today's topic is
Sir,
very
your
important.
voice is, sir, sorry to disturb you. Your voice is not clear.
Shall I put the earphone and mic? Can you
Yes,
hear
sir,
me?
please.
Because I am not changing my position. Sorry about that. Thank you for
No
telling
problem,
me.
sir. Yes, sir.
Let me put the earphones and mic rather than laptop mic. How far you have not heard me?
Sir, from just past 1 minute.
Okay. So have you heard this slide of, can you hear me better now?
Yes, sir.
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you better. Yes, sir.
Okay. I've taken the mic very near to my mouth.
Yes,
So
sir.
this,
Sir,
this work from home.
just a minute, sir. I just would like to announce the participants that if you are not able to see sir's presentation, you just have to pin Dr. Vijay Bambulkar, sir. You just go into the participant's name and pin Vijay Bambulkar so that you'll be able to see the presentation that sir is presenting. It's an earnest request to all participants to please don't present your screen and to please mute yourself. Thank you.
Subhangi madam. Subhangi
Yes,
madam.
sir. Yes, sir.
That pin means tell them that it's a sign of pin, actual pin. They are
Yes.
not understanding it probably.
All
Please.
participants, please see that in the meeting details towards the top right side of the screen, you can see that people you can see over there. You just go to Vijay Bambulkar sir's name, and over there you just have to click on the downward arrow. There's a symbol of pin. You just have to click on that pin option. Pin to screen, you can see. You just have to pin to screen so that you can see the presentation. And Supriya, please stop your presentation. Supriya Jagdare, you're presenting. So please stop your presentation. Sir, please start with the presentation.
So I'll just repeat this slide. Working from home. Is it better, or shall I go back to one slide behind this?
No, sir, you can start from here itself.
Okay. So I was giving some tips about working from home. What are the importance of a laptop, using a privacy and use VPN or your secured network. Here we require now more discipline for the communication, because today's topic is communication skill. If you are working not from the office, you require more discipline and require work etiquettes. That's what we are going to see now today. And your one silly mistake of yours can leave your organization or at least your team in jeopardy, especially because everyone is working from home. There is damage control. You have limited scope for damage control. So this is the outline of my presentation. Today's step 8, we have introduction, general guidelines. There are 5 pillars of corporate communication. It says clear, CLEAR. So this is abbreviation, and we will expand it later. I always love to interact, but now this interaction is not possible. So I'll try to give one more illustration to the case studies so that I am amply clear, and you will see that what I mean by clear is there are case studies, 6 case studies I have included. So we'll go. I think we have already lost the track of time, but we'll try to catch up as much as possible. And then the situation, there are risk areas. If government calls you, or trade secrets are there, social media is there, how we manage the communication. There are modern delusions I have listed. And communication is first thing, it is your impression. You create, because you are not present when the communication reaches other person. If you are there, verbal communication, then there is you can manage your impression. But if you are not there, then it is a virtual communication and you have tough time. So communication has to be very careful, and it creates your impression. So we have several things. I think can you see my screen? There are laptop, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Twitter, all types of communication, Instagram. I have not listed all, but there are different ways of communication which are going. Even I am saying as email, but that's not the email. That is all type of communication. And in this slide, I have listed 22 types of corporate world communications. My friends from industry, they will understand what it means. There are huge types of communication, and even I give example of email, that doesn't mean it is email, but it is any type of communication, memorandum, notes, minutes, handouts, slides, and contracts, drafts, marginal notes, letter, faxes. Now faxes have reduced. Press release. So press release is one of the very important communication which can damage your reputation of your company or college or institution, employer, whatever, logs, this. There are communication in your notebook. research notebooks, they are also written communication. So electronic files, which are required for like validation purpose, voicemails, purchase orders, invoices, shipping documents, advertising, company advertising on TV, media specifications, product specification, quality control specification. So there are all types of, I have tried to enlist all those. So the purpose is that if you see in the industry or any ED notice or income tax notice or anything, for that matter, anything in the corporate world, first they catch the laptop of the person and get into the emails. So email has evolved from corporation's best friend into its worst nightmare. This is a primary weapon against any law case. Email makes business life easier, but now email has become a primary weapon in lawsuits and a surefire way of a company and individuals. You must have seen several cases, people are in jail and their laptop is with police or somebody and they are digging out all the data. So from cases alleging antitrust violation to defamation to sexual discrimination, harassment, and email has become a star witness. So email is a primary, it cannot be manipulated. There are ways it can be coded and decoded about its authenticity. New legal saying is that there is not a case today that doesn't have some email component about it. So any email, three things you understand, it is forever. Even you delete from your inbox and trash bin and from recycle bin, it still remains in the tracking of the, somewhere it will be always in the server. Everything is potentially discoverable. So we're extremely careful. Email is one example, but all electronic communication is traceable. So this is what I was telling, that 5 pillars of corporate communication, CLEAR, careful, lawful, ethical, accurate, and responsible. We are going to take case studies how these words means. But to remember, whenever you're doing verbal communication or written communication or media communication, you should be careful, should be lawful, ethical, accurate, responsible. Good communication, there could be a good intention, but the context is this, then the communication will be perceived as a bad communication. So good intention can be misunderstood if insufficient context is provided. So we use good common sense, our good judgment, how we are going to do the communication. But whenever, second point is that whenever communication is there, we should be always on the right side of the law. Never try to bypass the rules or written regulations. So our conduct at a minimum must be lawful, and then the language we use, whether oral or written, should reflect in the lawful intent. Ethical communication, ethical means your values, core values from your bottom of your heart. Ethical based on moral principle, self-integrity, core value. I'll give example at midnight, 12 o'clock. If there is a red signal, are you going to cross? If you are driving a car, are you going to jump the signal or not? That is an example of what is your core value. Nobody is looking at you. No passengers, but still there is a red signal. If you cross the red signal at midnight, saying that nobody is watching you, then your values are not there. You are not ethical person. That's the example. And that dictates your communication. Essential is it necessary to create this document? Always think, can we talk and finish it and stop the written communication? Because written communication will be always there. Accurate communication. Whenever you give any communication, it should be fact-based. If there is some numbers you are putting, some data you are giving, it should be fact-based. There should be cross-reference as you give in your research papers. You are responsible for yourself. So First thing, you are responsible. Risk factor and how to control them is a part of a responsible action and responsible communication. So make sure that whenever you do a communication, you are responsible for yourself. Let's give little deeper into clear communications, that is careful communication. When given a choice, would you like to have emotions, emojis in your communication? Is it like a bold and flashing and dark, high, bigger font? You know that bigger fonts are mean that you are angry. Capital fonts means you are angry. How many people know that? So whenever given a choice between a flashy communication that calls attention to itself and one that is low key, choose the low key. Always be straight, forward, simple, so that people don't take out any meaning out of it. Good communication is usually not innovative or emotive. Our communication are best when we are concise, avoid extraneous matters that doesn't add to the discussion of the issue. So nobody should take another meaning out of it. That is a straightforward communication. Good communication uses language very literally. It is more difficult for a third party to misinterpret, reinterpret, or take out of the context to distort the poorly drafted communication. So here is an example. Case study 1. Loose words, slangs word, colloquial words, whatever you use while talking to a friend, slang words not permitted. Loose words is equal to large liability in corporate world. Never use loose language. For example, here they have given company X received 4 complaints from suppose 1 lakh customer alleging that the product is unsafe. This is already registered as a 4 complaints in 1 lakh. In reporting this complaint to the superior, suppose a product manager is not in a good mood and he says that we have been getting tons of complaints about the product. He possibly may not be able to handle those complaints, but he cannot write like this. We have been getting tons of complaints about this. What will happen in subsequent product liability action? The email of this available X's opponent could be interpreted to mean that there were far more complaints than 4 complaints. And in this employee should not have exaggerated magnitude of the problem. So it should be fact-based. 4 complaints means 4 out of 1 lakh. That's how the communication should go. Another example. So safe X writes, ABC writes to XYZ. This is topic is a safety defect. I tested the component. It is really bad. Bunch of people will get killed if you don't fix it up. So this gives, I think, he means something. The context is right, but he has little bit exaggerated. He's worried about it. He has written title as a safety defect. Is it a safety defect? I tested the component because he's a maybe quality control guy. He has tested it. It is really bad. The component of particular product is bad. And he says because of that malfunction or bad component, bunch of people will get killed if I don't fix it. If you don't fix it. So he's giving a message that there is a sense of urgency, you should quickly correct. But this remains on the record. Actually, what is a good communication? What he has done, he has not done a safety testing. He has done component testing. So title of the subject should change from safety testing to the component testing. I tested the component. It should be fact-based. You are responsible for the communication. So take responsibility. I tested the component. I is important. It did not meet our specification. That is a fact. He says some range is there and he is not, the product is not ready. And we'll have to modify the material before the final product can be approved for the shipment. That is a simple, straightforward, fact-based, clear communication. That's how the communication should be there. And it is a careful communication. You can't unnecessary, make it loud, saying that you have killed a tiger, and you are a great man. You have picked up the defect, but the way in which you write, it will backfire on the company. So be calm while careful communication. When we are involved in a highly charged internal debate, if meeting is very hot, there is a, I think you can say, blame. People are blaming each other, and in that context, we should not that who is responsible for it. Then first, never write an email or some communication when you are excited in a meeting. It is a hot discussion is happening. It's important to keep our emotions under check. Our communication, whether written or oral, will always be professional in tone. So never show up that you are angry and you are somebody is trying to exploit you, and that's why you want to take a revenge, and that's not allowed in corporate. Your professional, your tone should be always professional, humble. We should also respect.
Dr. Bamrukar, sir.
Yes.
Dr. Bamrukar, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Your voice is not clear, sir. Again.
I'm holding mic very next to my mouth. Can you hear me?
Sir, yeah. Now it is very clear.
Yeah, I think what I'm doing is I'm holding it still better. If you can you hear it now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you clearly now.
Yeah, I think I'm holding the mic in front of my mouth. We should be also respecting. So shall I repeat this slide or it's okay?
No, sir. You can continue.
So the point I was telling in a hot meeting, you should never communicate. And if you communicate, then your tone should be always professional, respecting different points of view. Everybody has point of view. I think the example I would like to give is one of the engineers design a car, and the car was not coming out of the garage finally, and they decided. I mean, the car is they realized that it is their mistake that they have not taken care of what is the height of the car and all that. And the example here, how to respect different viewpoint of view, that the watchman sitting at the corner is telling that don't break the wall, top of the near the roof. Just deflate the tires. So 6-inch height will come down and the car can come out. Again, you inflate the tires. So a watchman can give such a significant inputs where engineers failed to take out the car. I mean, I'm just cutting the story very short, because a watchman who is standing there, who is not an engineer, can tell you that deflate the tires, take the car out, again inflate it. So such a simple thing, don't break the wall. So such a smallest thing, solution can come from the watchman like this. Always double check your communication. Remember, they check your communication one more time before you send them out. Ask you, have I stated my point as clearly and concisely as I could? Think of how others who are not familiar with the situation might view your communication if it is widely publicized. So make sure you read it read aloud before sending the email. So collaboration, whenever you want to send a communication, you always find there are alliances. You build alliances, people who will support your communication and your point of view. We are the most successful when we realize that good communication is a collaborative communication. You are a part of the team. You are not out of the team. So make sure that that team spirit is given in the communication. We send others, receive when there is a potential of confusion or misunderstanding. It's important for us to spend extra effort to clarify our communication to avoid misunderstanding. So whenever we receive a communication also, communication that could be viewed negatively. Basically, we are receiving communication, somebody has said something, we are perceiving it as a negative. We need to consider some of the alternate meaning that sender might have intended, and ask for clarification before making the conclusion. So both ways it works. Whether your communication should not be perceived as a negative, and when you receive something, you should see that it is not really negative. There is some positive meaning out of it. So it is your thinking also should be always collaborative. There should be clarity, make your communication easy to understand, accessible to the audience for whom it is intended, limit to explain technical and trade terms as needed to permit the reader to appreciate the ideas you are intended to convey. Here, the meaning is that never use acronyms. BTW. How many people will know that BTW? It is by the way. You want to say by the way. Why you are using BTW? Be aware of the communication that contains string of acronyms. You are not allowed to use acronyms, even though our standard operating procedure SOP. SOP is known to everybody, but why not write when you are writing? Because the person who is maybe from some other department, he is not aware what is SOP. So never use acronyms in your communication. Make short sentences, no compound sentences, no complex sentences. Whenever there is a confidentiality, I think this slide speaks about confidentiality in the sense you cannot discuss corporate communication openly. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you. Please proceed.
Thank you. So when the point here is confidentiality is that you can't discuss companies matters in open train or in an open forum mall where because other people are listening to you, or a plane or waiting in a queue somewhere. So our competitive advantage relies heavily on the maintaining confidentiality. Be careful about discussing sensitive information on trains, phones, planes, and public areas. The case was reported. This has already happened to the legal department of a representative on a train talking loudly on a cell phone about sensitive information. It was overheard by representative of another company, and this made a legal case on it because his phone can be tracked, his voice conversation can be tracked, everything can be tracked. So corporate communications cannot be discussed in public area. Consider need for confidential agreement prior to disclosing confidential information. In the corporate world, there is something called NDA or CDA, non-disclosure agreement, confidentiality agreement. So those, if you want to discuss with some third party, put a legal document about it between mutual agreements. So here is in a communication which says that results of companies test trial for an experimental medication in the early stages of development. Here are the results. He is attaching the results of companies test trials for an experimental medication in the early stages of development. So is a go, no go type of a status for a new drug. This is highly confidential data. He is writing there. So please delete this email as soon as you are read about it. What is the problem of this? Because he's excited to tell that there is some early stage where our good results are there, and he has written in excitation. But he's asking the person to delete also. So what happens? Deleting the email from XYZ inbox does not destroy it forever. It contains trade secret. That means companies, some X drug, which is confidential drug, you have come clear some of the trials and you are asking somebody. So this is half-baked information. What is the need for this information to be shared with other people? Sorry. So the email can remain in a computer or even company server, and those of each person who received it, even after you deleting it from junk folder or flash folder. So it will, even your intention is good, but you should not do these type of instructions. Let's come to the lawful. What do you mean by lawful? As I was telling, doctors are not supposed to be managed. The word manage is not allowed. I will take care of the doctor and he will take care of the product. This is a totally illegal. So such a type of communications are not lawful, unlawful. Good communication is not about how to assure unlawful conduct. Rather, it is about emphasizing that our conduct must be at a minimum be lawful, and the language we use, whether our written or oral, should reflect our lawful intent. Here at the bottom we say, doctor said we support our product if we take care of him. What do you mean? We're sending him to conference, we're sending him to somewhere else, and some favor is being done. So this type of communication is unlawful and not permitted. People have lost job because of this type of thing. I set up a meeting and important that you attend, you join us. So such communications are illegal. They are not legitimate. Communication must be for legitimate purpose. If the underlying intent of a communication is suspect, it should not be made. You should not give this type of communication. You cannot patch up the improper acts with a good communication. Suppose you import a machine illegally and you want to save some duties from instead of classifying under X versus Y, you cannot do like that. Because those, even maybe somebody has suggested, if government duties are to be imported for a particular machine is X%, you have to pay that X%. Don't break the rules. Should never use words like we will manage the thing, we will manage the deal, we will manage people, situation, etc. There is a double meaning. Such things can go against your company reputation. We need to have a legal look at this. This is the worst thing to write. It could be illegal. That means situation as a holiday happened, event as a holiday happened, and you are asking for legal opinion, internal legal opinion. But such things are not allowed in corporate world. Our action must be just and equitable. It means that matter is solved not only according to the strict orders of the law, but complies with the principles of justice and works each unique case. But being just means it is a morally right and fair. So communicate according to these principles of justice. I'll give an example because this is little complicated. Whenever you're dealing with the customers, their margins, it should be as per the company policy. And you can't say, I give you more margin, therefore you sell the product. So communicate according to the customers, consumers, and patients, because you should be right side of the law, always. If you want to know the value of the ethics in business, consider how much being trust in the marketplace is worth. I'll give example of DY Patel brand. It's built by many people. For that matter, I come from Johnson. Johnson is a brand. 100 years people have slogged and built a reputation. One case of the asbestos in the talc destroys everything. Trust that has been earned over many years can be lost in a minute with one unethical communication. That's why Change Like a company fights for zero asbestos in a talc. And if something happens, they are ready to withdraw the product, but they are not ready to withdraw the product because it contains asbestos. So that is a reputation. They say we will not sell if you consumers are not really confident about our product, but we will make sure that there is a zero asbestos in the talc. And that's the reputation built by company. It is an earning trust reputation of a brand or a company. And of course, when you write about it, it is your personal reputation. Beyond the company reputation institution, it is a personal, your own name as well as the brand name you are building in the company. So that's how you are earning the trust. If it is absolutely not essential, don't send the communication. Go and talk to the people. better to face in a meeting. What you always decide whether written or verbal communication or a meeting is important. So what type of communication required? It depends on the type of a situation you are facing. Do I really need to create this document or communication? Would it confuse more or raise question or speculations and facts? Easy to become defensive and spiralate out of control. So it can happen. So if it is absolutely essential, then only communicate in writing. Otherwise, verbal communication, talk to the people. And now I think our current case is that we are in virtual communication. So basically, you can speak to people if it is possible, and written versus verbal versus a meeting, you decide what is the right thing to do. So, case study 4. There is an example. Put a question, a lot of products on the market is inexcusable. To put a questionable lot of a product in the market is inexcusable. Somebody is writing this. If you are doubt about the product, suppose assay is not really meeting 90%, and it is sometimes 89%, sometimes it is a 91%, and still you want to. So put a questionable lot of a product on the market is inexcusable. So you don't take a chance. I don't know who is responsible for this decision. This is just a time bomb waiting for us. So if this product goes into the market, it will bounce back to the. So some FDA will pick up the sample and they will say not of a standard quality and blah blah blah. So is it required to write all these things? No, absolutely. This is not essential communication. There is no way to rewrite this statement. If you feel this way, talk to your supervisor about your feeling before you write it. Because this will go into the recall situation and investigation situation. It is found by FDA. I told you earlier, you are in angry, and in the point which was calm there, here it is anger. Anger, other strong emotions can be affect accuracy.
Dr. Bambrukar, sir?
Yes.
Again, interrupting you, your voice is not clear, sir.
I can't help more than this, madam.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm holding just 1 inch. No, mic is just 1 inch away from my mouth.
Yes, sir. Sure. I'm just telling you so that we will not have any interruptions in between. And a request to all. Sir, I'll request all the participants. Yes, sir. I can hear you clearly. And I request all participants to mute themselves if they have not muted, so that we can have a proper session. Yes. Okay, sir. Please continue, sir.
So sorry about all that bandwidth and all that thing. But
No,
what
sir,
we
no,
were
sir.
talking about, anger and other strong emotions can affect the accuracy. Never reply an email when or any communication for that matter. You are emotionally charged. Communication should be objective and should be factual. Your communication should be accessible. Make your communication easy to understand and accessible to the audience for whom it is intended. Limit or explain technical trade terms as needed for the permit of read to appreciate the ideas you intended to convey. So it should be simple. There are communications in the corporate world which you are not supposed to delete. For example, these are company policies. They will always remain in a document hold notice. There will be always document hold notice. And you can't really, delete those documents. You have to preserve the documents till you are in the company. So you may not be available in academic, you are not available, but tomorrow you become employer or employee, there are some documents which are there for as your business conduct policy. Be aware whenever you communicate of your audience and intended or not. If it is a confidential, put a confidential. And that document cannot be like a circulated widely. It is a confidential document. It is to be held. It is only for some limited circulation. It should be always limited circulation. Be aware that once transmitted, it is not impossible to fully delete our electronic document, and it must not be deleted if it is a subjective document on hold. We are all responsible for our actions. Be aware, do you have any authority to make a comment or disclose? Suppose I am from marketing and shall I comment about the quality control? No. The quality control person also cannot comment on you should have marketed the product like this, because the people are responsible for given their authority. So you talk about, if you are responsible for quality, you talk about quality. If you are responsible for marketing in corporate world, you cannot cross the functional boundaries unless there is only one exception. You are a director position, where you are in board of director, you have to challenge within the small 5-8 people. You are everybody's responsibility there at board level, but not at that, not one level below the board. Then the function starts. So if you are at board level, you have to even challenge the managing director about the decision, and that is appreciated. So it's the board level, all the functions are resolved. Be aware, do you have any authority to make? Yes, at the lower level. Is the topic within your area of responsibility? I illustrated it. Here is an example. We have reviewed your bid proposal, but your price per unit is higher than what my company can afford. If you give us like 15% less, we will be able to work out a deal. Let me know, please. So here a salesman is offering to somebody else that we are reviewing your bid proposal, but your, say maybe government tender or something like that, price per unit is higher than what my company can afford. If you give a discount of say 15%, we'll be able to work out the deal. So these things are not acceptable in corporate world. That means there is something is cooking. There is a ulterior motive. There is some hidden agenda to write this communication. So ABC manager, the manager has to talk to his boss and find out whether it is ABC has a get manager's approval on all contracts, so that email cannot be obligated for companies to buy XYZ products. So such things are not permitted in corporate world. To form a contract, we have company policy. Once there is a X percentage is given, it is a company's written document is given. You have to attach the document. That's all, nothing more than that. To form a contract, you only need to an agreement to exchange things of value, even if it were merely an implied promise to buy XYZ products at an agreed price. ABC have formed a binding contract in her email, whether she meant to or not. You can't put a 15% number like this, and you have to show the company policy. We have some 4 pictures which says that emotionally, most of the time, without looking at, suppose if you are, especially you are on a phone and you want to reply quickly, reply all button is push or reply is push, and then you realize there is a problem. So those types of emotions need to be controlled, especially reply to all. You need to find out what is the string of emails or communication between there. Your message may be internal, you are mixing up internal and external suppliers or consultants. If it is employee related communication, it should stay within the employees. And you can't drag external or suppliers or consultant into it. So always make sure when you reply all means entire string of the emails will go. So you have to be very careful when you hit reply all button. There are very few instances when using reply to all function in an email is necessary, and quite a few examples when it is a bad idea. Understand the role of each recipient of message. So if it is not required, you filter out check out some of the recipients and keep it limited to the required people only. That's the way corporate works. So you need not reply everybody. Never CC boss always. It is, if you are always CC to your boss, it is a bad communication. Never always put CC to the boss. Never blindly hit reply all without checking all over this in the receipt. So maybe people just for the safeguarding themselves CC boss, but that is not allowed. That is not expected as a mature manager. So be careful about all this. So there, in business, there are always risks. We in a business we cannot avoid the risk. So, but you are always recognize the risk, how deep risk you are taking. We have given some examples of here. Recognition of risk factors and how to control them is a part of responsible action and responsible communication. Being able to recognize risk situation and context is the basis of good communication. I'm going to give some risk situations later on now. So, what are the sensitive data as far as companies are concerned? Company secrets are there. You make a deal, or you acquire a company, or you acquire a technology, you acquire a brand. These are company secrets, not to be. Because sometimes company secrets, if it goes, company market share will go up and down. And it's called as insider information leaked to the public. And therefore the share market has gone up or down. So these are companies, the secrets or confidential information, intellectual property, your R&D formulations. Some test masking you are done, and it is required to be, guarded till it goes to the market, or maybe drug delivery systems for that matter. Research and development, sales data, margins, how much your company is giving margin to customer, wholesaler, dealer. All this is a very secret data. Market share data, how much percentage of, like for example, Johnson Baby, they are 90% market share leader in the market. So those things are very really critical, and you should not. This is handling critical data is very important. Customer list, your customer list you cannot share with anyone, but you will lose your job if you share something like this. The corporate communications are very sensitive data. These are some of the examples of the competitors' data, major customers. So all this data is very sensitive. Here is an example of case study on that. Say we are launching a new product, for example, and marketing manager, brand manager, or product manager gives this statement in a launch conference. Or before launch conference, he writes, "We are going to dominate and blitz the competition." Blitz means kill the competition. We will kill company. Why? By making their product look like a garbage. So this type of a filthy language is not allowed. However, you are passionate, you want to bring your product on the top. The green communication at the bottom is says our new advertising campaign will call attention to the superiority of our product and will help us to attain a more favorable market share of market in the competition. These are like a gentleman's intentions or purpose. You can't be excited. Be some young product managers, right? You want to kill competition, it's not allowed. If in subsequent action by company Y based on trade defamation or antitrust or unfair competition, this email could be very harmful to company X if this company Y is able to obtain the copy, because launch conferences are generally public conferences. There will be reporter, there will be some competition, there will be a person who has already resigned or about to or going to resign and join from X company to Y company. So such a things are not allowed. Same email could be written as a given below. Avoid using war type of a cry or sports references can make come back to haunt you later on. So avoid such a communications in the corporate. There are some antitrust issues. For your information, what are those? Avoid words that suggest anti-competitive purpose. For example, block the competition,
exclude the competition, co-opt the competition, or hinder competitors, or competing technology for that matter. Market dominance. So those things are unethical. They are not. They are treated as an antitrust or anti-competition. There is a competition act for your information, which will not allow to compare your products, fair comparison. Like my product is better than your product. It's not allowed. We have to give different data, saying that once a document is created, it becomes discoverable in any investigation or lawsuit. Your email, etc., may create exposure for you and employer and company. Contact legal department or via court for any potential antitrust. You can listen this type of things from your competition, and you can sue the competition if they are going against. There are very risk areas. As I told that in business we are going to take risk every way, and the corporations are, but you need to identify which are the risk areas. Litigations, disputes, like workers' litigations or workers' contract for that matter, disclosure of confidential information, negotiating contracts, investigations and compliance related issues. So if your batch fails and it comes in email that we rework the batch and then send it to the market. So these are compliance related. These are risk areas. Can you do rework? Yes, you can do it within the framework of Drugs and Cosmetic Act for that matter. So, but you can't failed batch. You cannot totally rework and say that it was failed dispatch and call back. You want to rework within the factory. It's not allowed. Those type of reworking procedures are given by Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Within the framework of the law, you can always do it. Communication with the competition. Media communications like advertising. Now we have seen a social media. Any communication in the media, you should be aware about that. Nothing is a private there. Even it says social media, it is not a social. It is not a private. I will come to this on that slide later on. Comparative advertising. As I was telling, X is better than Y. Communication with the healthcare professionals, like communication with the doctors. You can't say we can't manage a doctor, or you send a doctor to conference. That's not allowed. This is illegal. Investigation by government agency. If a drug inspector enters your premises, or he calls you back. So those are very sensitive areas. Handling consumer data is a private privacy issue. Handling consumer data. Some consumer says, I got this drug and I got this type of reaction. So can you really make it public? No, it is a confidential, and only for that case you can't make it public. X consumer got Y complaint. This is very confidential. These are private issues. You can't make it. So you need to sensitize about the issues which are risky involved. Internal communications. We have seen several. And search warrants. Sometimes government comes with sometimes, especially excise. Earlier it was excise matters. People used to raid and find out actual excise duty paid versus actual excise duty. Now it is replaced by GST. So there will be those type of things. When government comes to you, they will say that ignorance of the law excuse no one. They say, I don't know this law was implemented from yesterday, for example. So there is implementation date, say today is 8th of June and it was implemented last Monday and you are not aware about it. So ignorance of the law excuses no one, and government will always find out, especially legal metrology. Legal metrology laws keeps on changing, and people in medical device, I was telling that in my introduction to mention medical device law was thinking they are drug, but legal metrology, Paswan's ministry says that all medical devices fall under legal metrology, Weights and Measure Act. and people have paid crores of fines for that matter. So ignorance of the law excuse no one, and obedience of the law is demanded, not asked for as a favor. They say you must follow. Effective October 2018, all medical devices have to comply with the legal methodology. And a lot of people were not aware of it. So that is not excuse. So here, if government agency contact you, maybe show cause notice, very gentleman, they can directly come and talk to you. And they say, we have found there is a complaint in the market like that. And what do you think about this? So those type of pointed questions are given. They must cooperate with the government investigation in accordance with the legal requirement and align with the legal department. They include attending the interview conducted by the government and or providing government agents with request non-privileged. Sometimes they will say, I want this data from your company. Can you give it? No, you can't give. If there is some confidential document which you really cannot offer to government, you have to tell this is a confidential. We need to have managing director's permission to share this document, whatever may be. So there are sometimes government officials also ask for non-privileged information, but there is a process how you can give it. If statement is required by quality assurance manager, but he is not authorized to give the statement because there is a legal entity of the person, which is a communication director or managing director can give the statement. So those type of things are always, there are protocols we follow for the communication. Trade secrets. This is another risk area. Information including methods, strategies, formula, practice, process of or compilation of information which are not generally known to everybody. There are some secret catalysts you use, yield, improve the yield. So that cannot be shared with everybody. Reasonably, because sometimes FDA will say they want their flow diagram or process flow diagram, and you need to include all the secrets. You are not required to, because that is a company's trade secret. If it is going to improve, because how much you can trust, you give information to FDA and it can be leaked. So if it is a really trade secret, you can blatantly avoid giving that information with legal concurrence. People of legal department, they said we are not giving because this is our trade secret. And you need to register some of the trade secrets under IPR. So there are some of the don'ts I want to give. Accept competitor document marked as a confidential or proprietary unless you are entitled to receive for it. Don't accept. These are don't. Somebody gives you a confidential document and you are not supposed to receive it. You by chance, by accidentally you accept it, you will become a legal scapegoat in that area. So don't accept anything which you are not supposed to accept. So don't accept it because it is written as a confidential, because that can be a trap for your company. Enter competitors building or other restricted area without permission. If you go to supplier visit or competitors visit and you are not authorized to enter into certain areas because there is some secret thing is going on, you are not allowed to enter this. Don't enter in the restricted areas. You are not allowed to take photographs or videos. These type of documents are not allowed when visiting competition premises or private events without permission. So this can trap you and your company into a litigation. Social media. That's what I was telling. Another, what is the risk with the social media? Everybody is social. Employees and other person who act on behalf of a company are expected to refrain from disparaging or insulting or disclosing any confidential information. The duty extends to social media. Communication made via social media should not be considered as a private. In social media, you can't do any gali galoj because I am giving one-to-one, तो चलेगा, नहीं चलेगा. social media, language used in social media can go against you as well as your company. So you can't be disparaging or insulting anybody in the social media. That's corporate rules. Employees should not discuss company matters which constitute material, non-public information with any person, including friends, relatives, or even family members for that matter. Employees who do not need to know the information. So some information is confidential, cannot be disclosed in social media. Employees are not authorized to discuss company matters unless they are authorized spokesperson. Company will appoint you in a particular case that, okay, Tal causes cancer. This is an issue with Johnson, and who will speak? There is only one person from the company can speak. Everybody cannot speak. My neighbor is asking me, "What is your opinion about this?" I'm not allowed to speak on behalf of company. There is an official spokesperson. There are official statements given. So in such a sensitive matters, you should be aware in social media what is allowed. So there are, like, just to sum up here, what is a private is not a really private. You have to be careful. What is deleted is never deleted. It is always there in the server. Sometimes you do spelling mistakes, spell checks, and the context can change. So I think I don't want to give many examples, but you take and took or some minor mistake in spell check happens, and then the entire context change. So be careful. Spell check is not a substitute for a think check. What do you want to say? Spell check will correct, but really this is what you want to say. It can change meaning and context. Little text or casual email will never be considered as a little consequence. Small email, small one word will say it will have less impact. No, it is never. So always these are delusions. You think I have done small mistake, some people will forgive me, error, minor mistake, nahi chalega. There are three examples I want to give. Any document you want to destroy, it has to be go through paper shredder. At the bottom it is given. Whiteouts are not allowed in corporate documents. It is considered as a manipulation. Liquid cover up, whiteouts, these are not allowed in the permitted in the document. So what is best policy for you? You are innocent until you are proven guilty. So what will protect us? Have a due diligence. I have given you 5 pillars of the communication. Follow those. Due diligence, disclose, due process. Be always on the right side of the law. Decide and document. Minimum document. Careful documentation. Follow the disciplines what we told now. So always be aware that communication creates your personal impression. Writing creates perception, how you think, what you are as a person, what we do and why, who you truly you are. So when you write, it gives your personality, your thinking, your upbringing, your culture, your family background, everything is. So be careful about that. If an unethical or illegal strategy is being considered, no amount of careful communication can mask it. There is I was giving imported machinery, different clauses you clear, and irrespective of whatever you write, it will come somewhere. Lawful strategies can be undermined by careless communication. Lawful strategies can be undermined by careless communication. Every communication matters. Everything is documented. Everything is discoverable. And you know, emails are forever, constantly remind you and your employees. In fact, last slide. Summary, before you write, consider how a document would look taken out of the context. Sometimes spelling mistake, sometimes out of the context. So it should be self-explanatory, to the point, to the context, to the subject. Would you defend the document from witness card? If you are tomorrow asked to in the court and asked to stand in the witness box, can you defend it yourself? That's where the communication should be. If your company legally or ethically stand behind you, tomorrow that it should not happen. It is your statement and company says that company is not responsible for this statement. You are the only employee is responsible. Can this situation happen? Can you explain your stand to your child who doesn't know about the details, like 11-year child, or for that matter, your grandmother who doesn't know the context? Can you tell face to face, eye to eye, and explain that whatever I have written is correct? Do you have that courage to explain to your child or to your grandmother? Then your communication is right. Make sure people don't speculate about it. So there should be right meaning. Appropriate, allowed for a substance, flow, and correctness. Give paragraphs. Don't write quick communications. Keep it short and simple. When in a doubt, seek a second opinion and talk it out. Always listen to another point of view. This is a small summary. And finally, we got takeaway: know your audience, understand the law, recognize limits, clear communications. I'll give you what is clear. Manage closures. There should be closing loop. Follow record retention rules. If it is filed to be kept, it has to be kept. Use attorney-client privilege with care. If legal department is involved, please be careful about it. Work on your writing skills. Thank you for this. Your patience. Maybe little different word for you. And this is the first time I'm sharing corporate communication to anybody outside corporate world. So your questions, queries, clarifications are welcome. You can write it to me, or we can talk about it right now, or we decide how we want to take it. If you have any questions, clarifications, I'm open. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It indeed was an amazing session. I hope the participants had a wonderful time listening to you. Thank you again, sir. Now I request participants to please raise their questions in the chat box. Dr. Sudhir Pandya, sir, will take these questions on your behalf. Over to Dr. Pandya, sir. Sir?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Shubhangi madam. A very good afternoon, sir. Dr. Vijay Bamulkar, sir. A very good afternoon to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pandey, sir. You are from corporate world. You know what I so we have spent time of 30-40 years in corporate world.
Sir, thank you for that. But let me tell you, sir, there were many of the threads which even I should have picked up. And thank you for enlightening me on the subject. There are many points that you discussed here, which will be very helpful and useful, not only to me, but to all the participants who have participated today. Sir, with your kind permission, may I take down some questions for you, sir?
Sure, please. Yes,
sure.
I'm available.
Sure. The first question is from Mohini Jadhav. She would like to know how she should differentiate between marketing communication and the corporate communication.
I think marketing communication itself is a part of a corporate communication. So there is nothing like all communications which are dealt from different departments of the corporate world. There is no difference. Corporate communication is a general terminology. Marketing communication, QA communication, R&D communication, operations, production communication, all these are corporate communications.
Right.
So, yeah.
Sir, is FDA or US FDA communication also included in corporate, or do we have to take them in a little legal manner, which will be where we will be putting in ideas which are specific and to the point.
In one of the slide I have mentioned government contact.
Yes, please.
There
Yes,
was a
please.
slide on that. Any auditor or person, drug inspector, walking into your premises is a corporate communication. It has to be dealt with higher sensitivity. And
Yes,
I
sir.
have cautioned you that you can't give some of the documents. Even government says, or USFDA says, I want this document. If it is not to be shared with anybody, it's a company policy, then you can deny that you can't share that content. So there are ways and how it can be shared, because a lot of people, these USFDA inspectors, they say, I don't want to carry it, I want to just read it. That's fine. So you can read in the meeting and you can withdraw the documents because it is required for some context.
Sure.
So you can
Thank you,
deal
sir.
with USFDA.
Thank you, sir, for that lucid explanation. Mr. Jagdish Giri would like to know how he can develop himself for corporate communications. Are there any specific ideas or any specific paths that he should follow?
I think I have given the principles and also some case studies how you can do. But yeah, when I think I can talk about my 40 years of career. First 20 years I was not aware about what is this. Let me admit to you. And as you learn, in some of the meeting, your boss will tell you whatever you are written is not correct. ना? Boss say next time ऐसा मत लिखो. उनको बात करना है कि जाके बात कर लो. So this is how you have to practice it and how do you. And I think you require some maturity. It is your experience. How do you interact with the situation? But the principles what I have given, they are solid, and based on that, you can start practicing it. It's like a gentleman's. You should be always on the right side of the law and try to give the clear communication. Keep the communication simple as much as possible. First thing, I think there was a slide which was saying whether it is essential or not essential. To communicate or not to communicate is also good communication. So we decide what is required and avoid the written communication as much as possible. So go and talk to people. In the virtual world, you can talk to people on phone and clarify.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that lucid explanation. Are there any etiquettes that we should follow and which are required for any corporate communications? That is what Mr. Anil Kumar Shinde would like to know.
So Anil, I think first thing, while interpersonal interaction is the most important. How you behave individually, one-to-one, as well as in a group, like a team meeting. That is, there are etiquettes to be followed. It's not something like a rocket science, but it is like a gentleman's promise. People can't shout at somebody. People can't. Give me 5, something like that. What we do at home, you can't do that in the corporate world. There are manners in which you can express, you can, I think this is more of a formal communication rather than informal communication. So you have to be extremely formal in corporate communication and corporate interactions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Akhil would like to know when we are developing a new product, there are many things which we just cannot communicate. In such circumstances, how are we to put up our substance in front of the corporate?
I think it is internal matter. Say if it is within the board level or within department, you can always communicate because without that you can't develop a product. So once that is done, I think, say if I'm not a really academician, but when I see academicians at my level, they have published 100 hundreds of papers, 500s of papers. Otherwise, you can't become professor or whatever. There are some rules. But at my level in industry, I have not published a single paper because that is not allowed. Because there are secrets of company which are filed at the most. I remember I worked with a neonatologist in a KEM. I could publish only one, and they could mention my name at the bottom, pediatric journal. They could mention that weight gain, we were talking about weight gain of a premature babies. So that was published. There was only one paper they sideline mentioned, but there are a lot of things which we had breakthrough as far as how a baby can be, a premature baby can be survived by vegetable oil massage. So those things, I think this comes as a product in the market, but you can't publish a lot of things when you are in corporate world. So that becomes a trade secret. You have to file a patent.
Okay, thank you, sir. So there is one question from Aditya. He is asking, in cases that Maggie famous case which had just recently taken place, in such cases, is there any better way that they could have communicated?
I think there are definitely better ways. I will give Tylenol. I'm from J&J, and Tylenol case. Tylenol, those who are not aware about the history, Tylenol by competitor, it was laced with the poison cyanide.
Okay.
And it is a very published case in the management book. And it was laced. It was not a J&J fault, but they recalled entire batches of billions of billions of dollars case. It was like a Tylenol was recalled, and they admitted this is a less by competition. I mean, it was a sabotage to bring the brand down. So, in case of this is a Tylenol case, but there are many cases like that. If something like that happens, then people have to go and admit. I'll give another example of J&J. We have joints, hip joints, laser joints, they are ASR joints, what we call as. Company paid 20 lakh rupees compensation because they admitted this is their fault.
Okay.
And it can happen. And you have to go and find out how it can. So those type of communication, it is better that these communications are transparent. Then you retain your reputation. Otherwise, you can't retain your reputation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for guiding us. So there are plenty of more questions, but I think we are running a little short of time. May I ask Shubhangi Madam to coordinate with the participants and ask them to clutter your email box? Then you can answer them later on. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm okay to reply by email. I shared my email, vijayabambulkar@gmail.
Yes, sir.
You can write to me, but I think it is better you consolidate at college level.
Yes, please.
So that repetitive questions are sorted out or clubbed together. And
yes,
then
please.
I reply to you, college, Shubhangi Madam or you.
Yes,
then people are satisfied, or they can talk to me if they want to talk to me on personal.
Sure, sir.
I have
Sure.
given a phone number also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that leniency that you have given us. Sir, before I hand over the platform to Shubhangi Madam, I would request our principal, sir, Dr. Neeraj Vyavare, sir, to please comment and guide us on the ongoing platform, sir. Please, may I request sir to come in, please? Sir?
Yes, yes, I am here. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Bambulkar, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. My pleasure, sir.
Yes.
You could
Yes.
find time, and you are organizing such a fantastic webinar series for skill development of students. This is the right time.
Yes,
I
sir.
think
Yes,
to
sir.
nurture it, and I would say this is
Yes,
great
sir.
service to the students.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you. Special thanks to you, sir, for sparing your valuable time in spite of your busy schedule. And really, you have touched on an altogether a different topic. I think the success of person and any professional, apart from his technical knowledge, this corporate communications or communication skill is equally important. And you have covered all the points in a very lucid manner, right from how to say store the data, data integrity, communications, and different sectors. And your huge experience, that long-standing service in the industry, has really gave us the first-hand information, which I feel that will be very, very useful for the students as well as faculty and me too. And it was really great pleasure to listen to you, sir. And it was a very good addition to our knowledge. And hope this series, which started with this one, this will be a series of interaction with you. We would like to be associated with you regularly and periodically also. So thank you once again for sparing time, sir. Thank you. It was a wonderful session what I have attended.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your
Over to Shubhangi.
guidance. Shubhangi ma'am, will
Yes,
you please
sir.
come in? Yes, please.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
So on behalf of the entire team, I would thanks Vyavare sir for giving your small inputs on this particular webinar. Now I request Dr. Vyavare to please propose the topics. Dr. Vaidya sir.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
On behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Pharmacy, Akurdi, Principal, all faculty members, I would like to present vote of thanks. I extend my gratitude to today's speaker, Dr. Vijay Bambulkar sir, for enlightening us with different communication etiquettes, email etiquettes. I also thanks all participants for their patient listening and association with us. Thank you, one and all. Over to Shubhangi ma'am.
Thank you, sir. With this, we declare that today's webinar is over. Thank you, Bambulkar sir, for being there with us today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, and
Yes, sir.
wish you all the best. Take care of yourself. Be safe. Stay safe. We will definitely meet at college also. Thank you.
Sure, sir.